Oh. Hi guys. I know it might look like I've only just woken up, but that's not the case. Um, it is Monday and it's quite late at night, and as you can tell, I'm not in the usual location. I'm actually at my apartment. Um, I mentioned on the last video that um, I could be having a busy weekend because I was going to be looking after my parents' house and the dogs. And I have. Um, they weren't due to come back till tomorrow, but they caught an earlier ferry and came back today, which put me in a bit of a rush. But I don't mind because my brother Steve came over for the weekend from Friday, I think it was. Yeah, Friday. Until today, and James from well, James, or otherwise now known as Games, by the way. I was going to say James from I'll Tell You What TV, which he is, but we've known him for years. But it was actually the first time I met him, and you know what? We had an absolutely brilliant weekend. I mean, I'm absolutely exhausted. Okay, that sounds like all we've been doing is banging each other all week. I'm absolutely exhausted. Me also, my back's. It's not the case. I rarely see mornings, but looking after the dogs, I've had to get up early every day. But I've not been getting to sleep till 3 o'clock and getting up at 7. So I've been getting 4 hours sleep on an airbed, which, trust me, is better than a floor or a couch. And I really don't mind having slept on the airbed. I really don't mind because we've had a brilliant weekend. And I wanted James to be comfortable in a place he's never been. And I wanted Steve to be comfortable with his bad back. But we're getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, it was 7 o'clock for 2 days. Then it was 8 o'clock. And then today, it was meant to be 8 o'clock, but it was 9:30. But the previous day, at the 8 o'clock one, the dogs woke me up barking because I hadn't fed them breakfast yet. Today, they were a bit more chilled. But yeah, so I'm tired, and to be fair, I'm in an awful lot of pain. My back is absolutely ruined. My legs are killing me. My hands are killing me. And if there's a strange buzzing, by the way, it's my PC. Because over the weekend, we did it today. Me and James do commentary for Dynamic GT League, and because he was here for the weekend, we couldn't do it in our normal way. So what we decided to do was actually basically watch the race footage on through the television and record using the PlayStation camera the commentary with Steve as well. So I'm trying to get that produced, but actually I'm going to be producing that, but right now I'm actually producing the second video of this series, so you can see how long it's taken me to kind of do things. But anyway, so suffering a lot today, but it's like I said previously, sometimes the suffering feels like it's worth it, and this weekend has definitely been one of those. I mean, I'm looking at myself on the camera, it looks like my eyes are fucking closed. But no, it's been absolutely brilliant. To be honest, I haven't had that much of a laugh every day, all day, for years, for a long time. It has been a long time. I mean, I've had funny moments and stuff like that, and there's times with the gaming guys where there are some really funny moments, but their moments this was just all weekend. It was absolutely fucking brilliant, really was. And more than likely, by the time anyone gets to see this, you may have seen pictures or footage on perhaps I'll Tell You What TV podcast, or you might hear stories. So when this actually goes out, it's going to have been some time since this weekend, but I'm recording it the day I've come back. I mean, it started off with with James, I gave him one instruction with his directions: come down the M1, come off at junction 24, pull into the lay-by. He missed junction 24, came off at 23, where you have to go nearly 10 miles until the next turn off. So yeah, but to be honest, I did spend a lot of Friday worried that James might be panicking, might be fretting, and might be nervous or anxious or stressing about coming down. And if he was, he might not come down. But I've got to say, when he actually let us know that he's on his way, I was buzzing, because that then relieved my stress, knowing that even if he is stressing, he's going for it. Again, that sounds dodgy, but I know what it's like to go, how difficult it can be to go somewhere you've never been, meeting people that you know but you don't know, and potentially stay there for a few days, and like, can you be yourself and blah. It's a very difficult and stressful situation, but to be honest, it was brilliant from the first second. As soon as James got out of his car and went, fucking hell, I'm a midget compared to you, it was just funny from the start. I mean, even as stupid as, because basically I went and met James in this lay-by, to take him, or get him to follow me back to the house, because it's not easy to find, and it's pitch black, or where the house is. It's dark outside because there's no other houses around, so it's really dark. So I've got this flashlight, this big fucking torch, like you can bring down planes with it, and I'm chatting to James as we go through the gate, and we take about 5 steps, and then all of a sudden, out of the darkness comes just something going, row, row, row. Fucking, I'd pretty much shit myself. James fucking jumps, and turns out Steve had been hiding in the bush until we got back, just to freak us out, and it fucking worked. But that set the tone, because it was funny as fuck. That set the tone for the whole weekend. And it literally, I mean, James said to us yesterday that like, when he actually turned up, he was knackered, and he kind of really wanted to just go to bed. But that breaking of the ice and having a laugh and getting talking and having a laugh and just sort of getting comfortable, and getting James to have a go on VR and stuff like that. It really was a blast all weekend. I mean, we did a bit of woodwork. Well, I say it wasn't really woodworking. We did a little bit of manufacturing. I mean, literally everything we did was just good fun. It really was a brilliant weekend, and I mean, James said that he had a really good time, and you know, I believe him, because I know I had a good time, and I know Steve had a good time, and I know all 3 of us, as much as Steve loves his wife and his daughters, and as much as James loves Vicky, which they love them lots, trust me, everybody sometimes needs a little bit of a getaway from the norm, including the likes of Vicky and Claire and Steve's children. They need a break from the norm just as much as we do. But I know that I needed a break from the norm, and I know that James needed a break from the norm, and I know that Steve needed a break from. It sounds really bad saying the break from the norm. Don't take offence by that, by the way, Vicky or Claire, if you're listening to this. I'm not calling you normal. It's more the personal, internal thoughts of ourselves that we need to break away from. I mean, if Steve or James were to say, oh, it does me head in looking at the same 4 walls, I could understand how someone could take that as a personal dig, but it's really not. It's an internal thing of, it's not that they don't want to, I'm digging myself a hole here, but I'm trying to explain it in a way that the break from the norm doesn't mean get away from you. It means go and do something that they don't normally do, just so that it takes away any negative thoughts that they have about anything. So, not thinking about work, not thinking about bills, not thinking about, well, it could be anything, not thinking about um, the stupid thing they may have said the day before, or just literally no thought processes whatsoever. And a complete change in psyche, and I needed it, and James needed it, and Steve needed it, and I think we got that because this weekend was absolutely fucking brilliant. And to make it even better, the dogs were brilliant all weekend. The weather was nasty on Saturday. My mum and dad bought a big trampoline for my other brother's son, Arthur. It fucking nearly blew away in the wind. Tied it down. It blew away again. Broke part of it. So tied it down more. So yeah, I mean that was fun. James didn't even know anything about that. He was asleep at that time. But yeah, I mean it was a really good weekend all round. I mean, we didn't drink. Steve did, but I didn't drink. James didn't drink. But we ate, we drank, we were merry, and it was a really, really, really good weekend. And I'm just really glad that James came down, because I can honestly say I think personally he needed it. And I mean, I think what was it from sort of Saturday stroke Sunday. He kept saying, now I know what it's like if I'd have had brothers. Because I suppose me and Steve have got a rapport. We take the piss out of each other and stuff like that. And James, who, in all honesty, I can't remember, I'm sure he says he's got a sister. But I'm guessing that relationship is different to having brothers. I mean, me with my brothers, we take the piss. It's just what we do. But it's not in a derogatory way. It's more in a fun way. And that is literally what a lot of the weekend was. We're just taking the piss out of each other, or we just ended up doing dumb shit by accident. Like, for example, I burnt my fucking fingers. I've only ever used an angle grinder once before, and I used an angle grinder to cut a few bolts. And the first one, I was cutting through it, and I got sort of through it, and instead of the top bit of the bolt like coming off, it just sort of tilted over. It was still attached, and I looked at it and went, "That'll be hot, that will." "No, it won't," and went to pick it up. It was hot. Fucking burnt my fingers, got blisters, got fucking screw line. So yeah, that kind of shit. Obviously the other two found it fucking hilarious, and from what I've heard, Steve even recorded, not me doing that, but recorded to see if I'd do something that stupid again. I forgot what I was saying, but anyway. But yeah, so we're just like doing accidental shit like that. But one of the interesting things I found with James was that he was saying that kind of the things that, say, for example, me and Steve would say to each other, or me and Steve would even say to James, because literally he just kind of dropped into that loop of, well, if he talked, we took the piss, and vice versa. I mean, it's not a bad thing. But I did find it interesting, and it's something I'd never really considered before, that the monologue that me and Steve had, or me and Steve have with James, is kind of the monologue that he has, but he hasn't got the brother to have that with. So effectively he has that monologue with himself. But it wasn't I think before this weekend, perhaps it wasn't like because I haven't got anybody I'm going to talk to myself kind of way. It was just, he has a monologue, like he'll do something, and then in his head obviously he's going, "Why did you do that, you fucking dickhead?" Or "Why did you say that?" So for him, there's still a voice saying it, but it's in his head, which then it could very easily make you go, hang on a minute, am I fucking nuts? Well, part of the answer to that is yes. But, sorry, my camera's, or should I say my phone is popping up some messages. But I think him realising that, like, for example, me and Steve, we have that monologue, but even if I wasn't there or Steve wasn't there, we'd have that monologue with ourselves. We do that. I think that perhaps helped James realise that he's not crazy, he's not mental for having those discussions with himself. In fact, I'm proper making him sound like a nutcase now. He's not. He's actually a really lovely bloke. I can see why Vicky likes him. It's the moves. To be fair, I didn't see them. He saw mine, didn't comment, and fair play to him because they're a cracking pair. But yeah, so I think in some ways it perhaps made him realise, or he may have felt, oh, that's something that I've missed out on. But at the same time made him realise, okay, so the conversations that I effectively have with myself, it is no different to having a brother there taking the piss out of you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we had a really, really good weekend. It really was good fun. I'm absolutely fucking knackered for it. But I'm so glad that James came round and Steve came round, because otherwise, I mean, to be fair, I nearly made James choke on his curry on last night, because I said, I appreciate you two coming around, because if you hadn't have done that, I'd have just been sat here wanking all weekend. And he was eating his curry at the time. It did get out well. Yeah, he nearly choked on it. But anyway, one of the reasons I'm doing this video today is because I haven't done any of my own projects this weekend, and annoyingly the weekend seems to have gone very, very quickly. Now, admittedly, like I said, I wasn't expecting to be coming home until tomorrow, but in a way I'm glad that I am home tonight, because I can get some of this video editing done. I kind of need to sleep in my own bed for my back, but would I sleep on the airbed again for this kind of weekend? Yeah, too right, I would. I really would. Because oddly, right, and this is odd for me, I was worried that James had been nervous or anxious or questioning whether he should come or not, and I fully understand that, because that's what I'm like. But it's only just occurred to me now that I wasn't nervous or anxious or stressing about meeting James, when usually I would be. Now, it could be that that's because instead of me worrying about me, I was worrying about him. And that is interesting in a way, because before I got ill, I was very much a helping people person. Admittedly, all ladies, very attractive ladies. But no, I mean, I was the person that people came to for advice, or I'd help people out of difficult situations. And I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed helping other people. Now, looking back, I think that was basically how I dealt with depression, ignored mine, and helped other people. That made me feel better about me and helped me ignore my problems. Whereas this, I don't think it's the same. I wasn't sort of concerned about somebody else because I wanted to bang them. Because as much as I like you, James, I'm not that interested. So I've got so many fucked up thoughts going through my head, so many funny things I could say, but I'm not going to say it. I'm a serious conversation this with myself. But actually, I did actually say to James about like the internal monologue that he has. I actually said that's one of the reasons why I've been recording these videos, is because I mean, effectively, I am having a conversation with myself right now. I'm talking to a camera. There's no one else here. My neighbour might be able to hear me, and there's nothing crazy about that. I mean, what I'm doing is effectively the same as if you're upset or depressed or scared about something. If you write about it, it releases that. It can release that stress and that anxiety. And that's what these videos have been doing for me as well. And I'm perfectly happy talking to a camera, it turns out. However, if I hear a voice go, right, money shot now, I'm off. No, not happening, mate. Right, anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so my concern for James wasn't me hiding from something else. It wasn't me ignoring my own problems. It wasn't me running away from anything. It was just genuine concern. And I think perhaps maybe one of the reasons that it is different now is because of what I have been through over the last few years, and I am kind of coming through the other side of it. But to be fair, I'm waiting for that moment of shit, because it's coming. I know it's coming. I don't know what it'll be. I've got a few theories, but I suppose it's one of the things that I've noticed, or I feel like my life has been, where it's like things are going okay, things are going really pretty good, and things are going all right. Well, I'm fairly happy. Bosh, end of the world. Right, work my way back up. Right, okay, things are okay. Right, things are looking good. Bosh, and years ago, when I said I got myself to a mentally strong place, I was able to deal a little bit with those downs because I'd been able to work as best I could to minimise what those downs could be, or had improved my ability to go, oh, I don't care. So, for example, helping people, I stopped doing that a number of years ago. Admittedly, because there was a certain time where I could have done with a few people's help that wasn't family. And when it came to me reaching out to those people, they weren't there, even though I was there pretty much every time they needed me. And that wasn't easy to cope with. And if anyone is sitting here thinking, oh, was he on about me? Feel free to ask me. If it was you, I'll tell you. Right? I'm not going to say who you are live on camera. But if you are concerned that it was you and you want to know, ask me. I'll tell you. So yeah, but I do know as well. I mean, there's been times where I've been a complete dickhead. But yeah, so I haven't been helping people for a long time. Because I've had to focus on myself, and that is how one of the ways I was able to get myself into a stronger mental situation, because I focused on myself. And by that I don't mean making sure that all my bills are paid or I'm understanding what's going on. I just mean making sure that first and foremost I look after me mentally. And I suppose this weekend in a way has been a bit of a turning point in perhaps realising that, yeah, okay, you are on the up, but I've got to be so careful of whatever that next down may be, because although I'm expecting it, I have no idea how I'm going to cope with whatever it may be. And if it's worst case scenario, I don't think I will cope with that very well. But I mean, what can you do? Anyway, I just want to do this video because everything I've just said, but also because I haven't done anything like with my woodworking stuff today. And interestingly, it hasn't bugged me that I hadn't done any of it, but that's because that's kind of like the thing of getting away from the norm, right? I haven't once this weekend, even though I could have taken a 10-second walk and done stuff. It didn't bug me at all that it was there and I could do it, but I'm not doing it because I was doing other stuff. I wasn't even thinking about anything else. And that's kind of the breaking of the norm that I've been on about. So yeah, so the video, I mean, I was in two minds about whether to do this video or not, because of how tired I am and because I have nothing to show for it. And even though I've had a great weekend, I do literally look like I'm just about to go. Although to be fair, I was telling Steve and James this last night, my back was so bad that after they'd gone to bed, I lay down on the floor to crack my back. Tried cracking it one way, it wouldn't crack. I rolled over the other way, tried cracking it that way, got a little bit of a crack. So I was working it a little bit. And then I just happened to realise, I was like, the floor does smell a little bit of dog, because the dog shed. And the next thing I know, it must have been 20 minutes later, and I'd just woken up. That's how fucking knackered I was last night. So, anyway, yeah. But I thought I'd do this video anyway, because it's a very... I think this is a different video to what has been happening on my videos recently. And although this series is kind of like... It started off with... a very honest message. Obviously, it very quickly turned to Dave Scott Wood, but it is effectively just me recording a video talking about what I'm doing with that cabinet, but also anything else. And although perhaps on a lot of my more recent videos I haven't talked much about personal stuff, but that's because I've been obsessed and addicted with the woodworking stuff. I want to finish it. But again, like I said, this weekend I've not even thought about it. So anyway, right, I'm going to end this video in a second anyway, but because I just wanted to get a few words out about this weekend, because it really has been a fantastic weekend, and I'm over the moon that I met James. And I think now that he has been down once, admittedly my apartment isn't big enough to have like guests stay over, which is a shame. But if my parents go away again, then I'd definitely offer for James to come down again, and bring his Mrs. Vicky if he wants to, because now he's been down once. He knows that there's room for them. So, but yeah, and in a way, I mean, I said it earlier, a big thank you to Claire for, it sounds bad saying letting Steve come away, but giving Steve the opportunity to be able to, because she's looked after the kids. And she could quite have easily have said, no, fuck you, I'm not doing that, but she didn't. And although Steve's going to be in pain for a few days, he knows himself it was worth it. It was worth the laugh. So thank you. But also to Vicky, I know James can be a bit fucking mental at times, but at the same time, he really did enjoy himself this weekend. So thank you for thank you for being cool with him and coming down. Although she did actually say to him, well, this is what James told us. He said, Vicky asked me whether I'm coming back on... this was his reason for missing the motorway junction, actually. Because Vicky had phoned him because she wanted to know if he was coming back on Sunday or Monday, and he said, I'm not sure yet. And she goes, well, can you make it Monday? So, but yeah, so thank you, Vicky, for being cool with them coming down, and hopefully, I don't know, if you happen to see a different James over the next few days, a happy James, perhaps a more chilled James, then send him down more often. But no, it would be really nice to to meet Vicky and see them together, see how different James would be. But anyway, right, okay, I've waffled for half an hour and done absolutely fuck all, so I'm going to go. I need to do myself some dinner and finish this video editing. So anyway, have a good time whatever day you're watching this, and maybe we'll see you again for when Dave gets wood.
Oh God!